Yo guys, what's happening? I wanted to talk about something non-Battlefield related, but kinda similar at the same time, so bear with me for a second as I explain. What I want to talk about is Battlefront 3. Now Battlefront is a Star Wars based multiplayer game much like Battlefield in a lot of ways. Its main game mode is conquest related, and it's split up between infantry and vehicle combat. Now this may not seem relevant until I tell you that, as you may know, EA recently acquired the rights to make Star Wars games from Disney. Now LucasArts were working on a number of Star Wars games, including the very promising looking Star Wars 1313 and also Battlefront 3. But due to a number of reasons, Battlefront 3 got cancelled. Also, when Disney took over LucasArts, they canned all the games they were working on and shut down LucasArts, the gaming side of things. Apparently sources within LucasArts said that Battlefront 3 was about 75% done, but it was a mediocre game at best. So I guess cancelling it wasn't really a bad idea. The company leading the development of Battlefront 3 was a company called Radical Design, which is now in fact Crytek UK. Either way, since then, Disney have sold the rights to EA, leaving them free to make a number of Star Wars games, which they've already confirmed they will. Now, it's unlikely that EA are just going to pick up where LucasArts left off and keep the game progress that had already been made. It's highly unlikely. The most likely scenario is they're just going to start fresh. In terms of Battlefront 3, that's a great idea, because if the game was mediocre, start it afresh. The shame, I think, is Star Wars 13 was looking really, really good, so it'd be a shame to lose all that progress. But right now, my main thoughts are with Battlefront. Now, all new games coming out of EA, or a lot of EA games, if you exclude the sports games, are being made on Frostbite, either version 2 or version 3 of the engine, which of course DICE were responsible for creating. Now the idea of seeing a Battlefield type game in the Star Wars universe running on Frostbite 3, that is pretty damn exciting to me, and I'm not even the biggest Star Wars fan out there. Rumours have been circulating that DICE will be heading the development on a Battlefront game, and whilst that's far from confirmed, I'm sure of all the EA companies, DICE would be best possibly suited to work on a game that bears so much resemblance to their Battlefield titles, in terms of the game structure and so on. Also, I think Star Wars fans would be happy that DICE would be leading the game development, because DICE have always had a huge attention to detail, and they tend to put a lot of effort and love into their games. EA have confirmed that 3 gaming houses that they own will split up the Star Wars franchise in terms of game creation. Now they are DICE, Visceral, and BioWare. Now that confirms DICE are going to be working on a Star Wars game, but it hasn't confirmed what game. But surely out of that list, DICE would be the most likely to take care of Battlefront. The reason I bring this up now is that E3 is of course just around the corner. And if you've been watching my videos, you're going to know that I've been harping on about E3 quite a bit. And that's because it's huge for gaming and getting new game footage and information, and it's going to be huge this year. Now, of course, my main priority and thoughts are with Battlefield 4, and that's what I'm really waiting for. But having said that, I'm also really hoping we find out maybe some more information on what EA plans to do with their Star Wars licenses and what companies are going to be leading the development. Now, the DICE Twitter feed has already stated that DICE have got huge surprises in store for E3, and the way it was worded kind of suggested that those were surprises other than Battlefield 4. So maybe they're going to talk about some games. It could even be Mirror's Edge 2 for all we know. Who knows? But let's hope we hear something about it. What I'm only worried about is if DICE are going to be leading the Battlefront 3 progress, or the Battlefront 3 game, will that mean they'll be restricted with Battlefield 4's progress? Will it hinder it? Probably not, as they're now quite a sizable company. They've just branched out to make an office in LA, and I imagine they have more than enough resources to develop multiple games at once. My thoughts are these. I think DICE LA will, as DICE have already said, just be an extension of DICE Sweden, and they will continue to work on Battlefield 4 together. I think though it's going to reach a point, maybe after Battlefield 4's release or maybe just before, when DICE LA will start their focus on Battlefront 3 instead. It is mere conjecture, but I think DICE would definitely be the best studio to handle this sort of title, and time is going to tell when E3 comes around next week. Assuming EA mention the Star Wars games, which I'm sure they will, we'll finally find out what the crack is. I'd like to hear your thoughts though. Would you guys like to see a DICE developed Star Wars game on Frostbite 3? Or would you rather see a Bad Company reboot? Well, if the latter is true, I'm afraid you are out of luck. because DICE have already confirmed they're currently not actively working on a Bad Company game. Whatever you want though, let me know in the comments below, and as always guys, I'll catch you on the next one.